The best healthcare is there in ways big and small. There when we most and least expect it. We may not see it, but we feel it. It lets us know we're not in this alone. Everyone deserves a healthcare partner who never quits. One who's there for what matters. United Healthcare. There for what matters.
Hi, I'm Sheletta Brundage. I'm a media personality, podcaster, and a business owner. But my most important role is mom. 3 of my beautiful kids have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. When I didn't know who to trust or where to turn, I found ACRA. ACRA provides home care services to families all over Minnesota. The care is not one size fits all. They know each one of my kids is unique. They listen to what resources we needed and what's best for our family. I've seen my kids grow and thrive with ACRA's in-home care. While autism is the most common diagnosis among ACRA clients, ACRA offers personalized in-home care services for people with disabilities, chronic illnesses, behavioral diagnosis, and mental illness. They work with children, adolescents, and older folks too. Find out more about ACRA at their website, acrahomecare.org. ACRA helps me provide my kids with a better quality of life. They can do it for your family too.
Before she became an autism advocate and mom of 4, Sheletta Brundage was an Emmy Award-winning comedian. Need something to put a smile in your face? Laughing with Letta is sure to tickle your funny bone. Check it out, but pee first and make sure you ain't drinking nothing when Sheletta's on a roll. That way you won't have anything to clean up when the podcast is over.
You know, I was going to spend some time to introduce him, but he is backstage just giggling and grinning on my intro music and my little video. So I'm just going to jump him into the show. Minnesota Secretary of State Steve Simon is joining us. You are not new to hanging out with me. We have hung out on my WCCO radio show, but I believe this is the first time you've been on my podcast.
Yeah. What took you so long? I mean,
it's Cassandra. She's trying to keep us apart. I've tried. I don't know why she's Minnesota ghosting me. No, I'm just kidding. She's awesome. I'm so glad that she found a way for our schedules to align, because my son came home and told me something, and I was like, "That's not correct. That is inaccurate information." And he said, "No, Mom, it is true. I can pre-register to vote." I had never heard of anything like it, and I said, "You know what? I'm going all the way to the top on this. I'm going to ask the person in charge." Because truly, son, you must have the wrong details. I don't know who you're talking to. Can these kids, my 17-year-old son, the 16-year-old kids, can they pre-register to vote?
Absolutely. New law that we've got. And just to level set here, one of the big parts of my job is we oversee the election system in Minnesota.
Right.
So it's a new law that I and many of us push for. And you bet your son is absolutely right. What it means is if you're 16 or 17-year-old in Minnesota right now, you can basically get in line to register to vote. Now, what does that mean? What does registration mean? You hear that term, it gets thrown around. Nobody knows what that means. Here's what it means. It's really simple. Registration means you just got to show that you are who you say you are and you live where you say you live. That's it.
Really?
That's all. That's all that registration means. It's common sense. So the way a 16 or 17-year-old would do it, you can go to our website. It's mnvotes.gov. That's mnvotes.gov. I'm telling you, it will take people 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops. All you do is put in your information, your address, either a driver's license number, or if you don't have that, last 4 of a social security number, basic information about yourself. And then someone, a human being, is going to look at that stuff to make sure everything checks out. And if it does, without a student having to do anything else ever, think about it, deal with anyone, talk with anyone, boom, on their 18th birthday, automatically they'll be added to the list of people who can walk in and vote. That's it.
That's it. That is amazing. I thought surely my son had inaccurate information. Now tell me, how did this all come about? Because I've never heard about anything like this before. Are we the first state to implement something like this?
No, we are not. As a matter of fact, a bunch of states have this same law, and there are states all over the country. I worked with someone, my counterpart in Louisiana, very different politically from me, but that doesn't matter. They love this law. We love this law. And it really kind of grew out of a law that we already had on the books. Before we passed this new one, we had a law that said if you're 17 but will be 18 by the next election, then you can get in line to do this. Well, we said to ourselves, okay, we already got that. Why not just make it all 17-year-olds and all 16-year-olds? All you have to do is fill out this form, out of sight, out of mind. You don't have to think about it, and everything checks out. If you are who you say you are, you live where you say you live, those two things only, you're on the list. That's it. It's easy. And here's the best part. This isn't just some sort of happy talk thing where we're hoping it'll have this great result. People have looked at this in detail, and in places that have this, there is an uptick in participation in voting by our youngest voters when they turn 18 or 19 or 20, that first election where they're eligible. So this is real. Like, this has a real effect, and we're hoping it'll have that in Minnesota.
And I just appreciate the fact that we are thinking about the young people. So oftentimes the debate gets lost. They look at the candidates, they're much older than them, and they lose interest. For my son, this revitalized his interest in being part of the political process and voting, he and his friends.
That's great. And I hear that a lot too, that this is a good kind of excuse for young people to think about themselves as voters before they even are voters. You don't have to wait till you're 18. Hey, starting at 16, just think about it. Kids got a lot going on, school and activities and family stuff and whatever. This is a way you take 2 minutes, you sign something, or you go to a document, you fill it out, and you don't have to think about it ever. And then on your 18th birthday, and you'll get word that this has happened, on your 18th birthday, you're in. That's it.
I love it. Well, you don't have to wait till you're 18, because apparently young people can also be poll workers, 16, 17 years old. In addition to getting paid, the magic thing that my son is talking about is we get to miss school. So talk to me about poll workers, because traditionally in our community, poll workers were always the elderly ladies who look forward to doing this, but you really want to get those young people involved.
Yeah, we want a mix of people doing this. And just so we know what we're all talking about, these are the people when you go in on election day who are working the polls. There are usually a handful or more of them. They greet you at the door, they sign you in, they show you where to vote, they help you put your ballot in the machine, all that stuff. It takes people. In fact, we need 30,000 people, 30,000 every election. That's like a small stadium full of people to do this, and it's paid. There's 2 hours of training. That's paid too. They got to let you out of school. They got to let you off of work if you're an employee to do it. Did I mention it's paid? It's paid. And it's a great sort of front row seat to democracy, to elections. Maybe you get extra credit if you're a student. Maybe it looks good on the application somewhere. Who knows? But it's a good experience.
Yeah, that's what my son said, because what he's doing is he's looking for more things for his college applications. As he's starting to apply to some of our Minnesota schools, is, Mom, I need more community service. And so when he was doing his research, that's one of the things that we talked about. Be a poll worker that lets people know that you're part of the political process. You've been trained. You're thorough. You know how to work in groups. And it's, all part of, this whole democracy and keeping it intact. Now, we got a big election coming up next year. How are you all gearing up for that?
It's big. There's a lot going on.
Yes, it's a lot.
We're under it. We are, believe it or not, like everyone thinks about 2024 and presidential election in November. But whoa, you got to back way up, because there's stuff that comes before then. So we are now under 100 days from the start of voting for president in Minnesota. By that, I mean, starting January 19th, the voting starts for our presidential primary in Minnesota. And what that means is, there are a bunch of Republicans running for president right now. There are several. There are only a few running against President Biden on the Democratic side. But that's an option for Minnesotans, whatever their party, to vote and vote for either a Democrat that they like or Republican that they want. The election for that is March 5th. But voting in that election starts, as it's called, absentee voting, starts January 19th. That's under 100 days from now. So it's really around the corner. And I think what we're aiming for and what I'm aiming for is, look, regardless of who you vote for or how you vote or what your politics are, that doesn't matter right now. What matters is getting the right information, getting trusted information, cut out the clutter and the noise. And what we've been saying is, hey, go to trusted voices. There's going to be a lot of talk about the election. But when it comes to the rules, who can vote? What are the rules? Where do you go? We hope people will turn to us, or maybe it's your city or your county, whatever. Our website is mnvotes.gov. So if you're looking to determine anyone of any age, hey, what or who is on the ballot? You just type in your address, boom, up will pop a sample ballot of every candidate, every office. If you're wondering, gee, I don't know where I live. Are we voting for state senate this year or county commissioner? You can also figure out where your polling place is. And here's the other part I love to talk about is for all these elections in Minnesota, anyone who's eligible to vote can vote from home. You don't have to go to a polling place. A lot of people do, but if you want to vote from your couch or kitchen table, you can do that too. mnvotes.gov is the place, and you can order the ballot to come to you and vote on your own timetable.
Now, we know this happens each and every time there's a big election. There are bad actors out there. And it used to be, Secretary, that we could tell. The English was broken, the language was off. The message was somehow not, credible. But now with this new technology, this AI, it is a game changer. I've seen it. Somebody had me look insane. I looked like I had good sense. And I was like, surely people will know it's not me because I'm not cussing and acting the whole fool. But this AI is doing something. And I'm sure that as it, bobs and weaves through our culture, it is knocking on your front door. How are y'all handling that?
Yeah, well, here's how I see this AI bit, at least for me. It's sort of like it's the old poison in a new bottle, meaning people lying about stuff. I don't care whether it's healthcare or election rules or whatever. That's as old as time. But now it's a way to do it that, whoa, looks real. I mean, someone could do a deep fake, like you said, a deep fake video of you, and it wasn't even you. It was totally made up, or me, or anyone else on the street. That's the tough part. So what we're doing, working with a ton of partners, is just doubling down on this. Hey, folks, go to your trusted sources, right? Yeah. What appears in your social media feed, that's for entertainment. But don't go there for the rules of the road. And I, speaking just in my own lane here, like when you're figuring out what's going on with an election, who's on the ballot or whatever, go to us, go to others who run elections to get that information. Because you don't know, you see a video, you see an audio, it could be completely manufactured, completely made up. And that's the scary part. But the essence of it is as old as time. People just lying about stuff. That's it.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for giving me your time, for coming on and empowering our young people to be a part of the process and giving us the information about the poll workers and the pre-registration, but also just gearing up for that election. I didn't even realize it. You're right. We're thinking in the great by and by next year, almost a year from now, we'll be looking at that presidential election, but it is a lot closer than we think.
Right. It really is around the corner. So buckle up, everybody.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Secretary of State for the state of Minnesota, Steve Simon, making his Laughing with Letta podcast debut. I so thank you, and I appreciate it. And it's been a joy having you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. And thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you share this podcast with your friends and loved ones, and especially the young people in your life. If you live in Minnesota and you are a viewer and a subscriber to this show, I want you to make sure you engage your young people because they are not too young to be a part of the political process. See you next time.
That girl is crazy in a good way. To check out previous episodes, log on to her website, SheLettaMakesMeLaugh.com. You can also check out where she's appearing next and score cool merch.
Hi, I'm Sheletta Brundage. You know what my family and I are doing for MEA weekend? Child, we are going on vacation. And I mean a real vacation. We will not be crisscrossing the state or the country taking my son Andrew to tour college campuses. We found the right fit for him right here in the Twin Cities. It's Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas. This 2-year college will put him on a path to his 4-year degree. With small class sizes, he'll build personal relationships. And I like the free laptops and books. At Doherty Family College, he even gets free bus fare and free breakfast and lunch. This means he won't have to take on debt to get his education. And just think, my son, a Tommy, and me, a Tommy Mommy. So for MEA weekend, save yourself some time and travel. Do what we did. Go to dfc.stthomas.edu and set up your own tour at Doherty Family College.
The new COVID-19 vaccine has arrived, and just in time. It's an effective tool to target the variants we know are circulating in our community right now. While this updated vaccine is recommended for all Minnesotans aged 6 months and older, it's particularly important that some folks get it. So who's at higher risk? Young children and people who are 65 or older, are immunocompromised, have underlying medical conditions, or are pregnant. These are the folks who are most vulnerable to severe COVID-19 outcomes. They could become very sick or even need hospitalization if they get COVID-19. Variants are circulating in our community right now, and the updated vaccine is an effective tool to protect us. So check on your granddad, your auntie, and that lady next door to make sure they've got a plan to get the new vaccine. And plan to take your little kiddos to their healthcare provider or your local pharmacy to get theirs.
It's not just another day in your life. Things are changing for the better. At Comcast, we see those changes, and we're thinking about how we use technology today to live, work, learn, and play. And we're building for the future now, so we're better prepared for the wants and needs of tomorrow. That's why Comcast is rolling out multi-gig internet speeds to more than 50 million homes and businesses before the end of 2025, making our already industry-leading network even faster, smarter, greener, and more reliable. Over the decades, Comcast has been your partner, working hard to serve your community, and will continue to be your partner. We're expanding our gigabits so you can enjoy the tiny bits that matter most.
Being a teenager today is a real roller coaster ride. Up, and sometimes down even lower. An organization called Treehouse is giving Minnesota teens the support they need to build resiliency. Treehouse is a faith-based nonprofit that offers teens a safe space to share their troubles and learn healthy coping skills with peers and caring adults. Right now, Treehouse needs more volunteers. Do you have a passion to help teens? And would you like to share your wisdom with a middle or high school student who's feeling hopeless? Then sign up to volunteer with Treehouse groups meeting in Bloomington, Brooklyn Park, Plymouth, Minnetonka, and Eagan. Adult volunteers are needed as mentors, drivers, support group assistants, program assistants, and to help prepare hot meals. Lift up teens in our community and help them find hope and joy by volunteering with Treehouse. Learn more and sign up at treehousehope.org. Click on the Get Involved tab at the top of the page. That's treehousehope.org. The teens can't wait to meet you.
We are Treehouse!
You know Sheletta makes you laugh, but did you know Sheletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Sheletta Brundage founded Sheletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShelettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShelettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Sheletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Sheletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShelettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.